Yay. Okay, I'm so stoked because I've been doing so much research on all things social media lately. Hello, Kelsey. We just started, so you're all good. Anyways, I've been doing so much research on social media stuff just because I found that my own page and platform and like engagement and all those things are really struggling and lacking lately. And I was like, is this me? Like, what's going on? And just really digging into like the algorithm and how things have changed over the past few years. It's like so much simpler, I feel like, than we all think it is. Like, I think we make it out to be this like mean old Instagram, just like making us so mad. So hopefully this call will help you like debunk a couple things and just give you some really good tips to implement. Some of it you might already be doing. Some of it, if you've been coaching for a while, like it might be stuff you are like pro at already, but I know there's going to be at least like 1 or 2 or 3 nuggets for every single person. So first things first, what I learned is that Instagram isn't really much different than it used to be. You know, like how a few years ago the algorithm changed from timeline, like you view posts in the timely manner, is just like, you know, the first to the last post, to most popular. And really, it hasn't changed much because apparently, if you would scroll down back far enough, you would see all the posts in your feed. However, they're still based in popularity. It's like the person that you've been engaging with the most is going to show up first, or the person that you go to their page the most is going to be showing up in your feed first. So it is based off of popularity still, but you're still able to see all of the people in your feed, and all the people who follow you are able to see your feed. They're probably just not scrolling down far enough. So really the main change with Instagram is how we are using it, is what I learned. So number one thing we have to think about is how long are we getting people to stay on the platform? Because Instagram is a business, and so they obviously want people to stay on their platform for as long as possible. And if we make a post, you know, that's like a swipe through, maybe it's like a recipe, like step 1, step 2, and you swipe through all those steps, you're gonna have like hold people on your page for so long. And so that's actually going to boost your page because you're making people stay on the app longer, right? Or if you have a lot of stories and you're really engaging and you're not boring, or, you know, drawing the story out too long, people will watch all of your stories. And same thing, like your page will be boosted because you're helping Instagram do what it's meant to do and keep people on the app. So a few things you can think about with this is creating like super engaging posts, you know, with good questions, asking yourself like, how can I drive people to Instagram? Like maybe for me, every time I do a live video and share like how to do something or how to make a recipe, I'll say, hey, once you're done, if you go and try this, like make sure to tag me in your stories, or share the recipe and tag me, or send me a DM if you're not, you know, if you're not confident about sharing it on your stories. Because if people are using the app, like if I'm not on it and people are using it and they post something and tag me or message me, that's telling Instagram, oh my gosh, Leanna is like drawing people to the platform. Or let's say that you were like a YouTuber. I'm learning a lot of this stuff from a YouTuber. And so she says, she always mentions, you know, go find me on Instagram in her YouTube videos. And anytime we do that, it's telling Instagram that people are coming to the platform because of her. So it's going to like, again, like boost her page so much. And the other thing that's really, really cool about this aspect of Instagram is it's becoming more about the relationships and less about the following, because like you're really engaging with conversations, right? And like you're trying to get to know people, and that all takes time. And so the more time you're spending on the app building that relationship, like it's all the better. Like that, I think it's so cool that it's moving in that direction. And then another thing you can think about, just basics, are like polls, stickers in your stories, questions, swiping through posts, obviously, like I said before. Anything that'll get people to stay on longer is great. The next thing is timeliness. So this was really like mind-blowing for me, because when I heard timeliness, I was like, yeah, of course, it matters when you post. Duh, we all know that. But she is saying, this girl I'm learning a lot of this research from, that it's about doing things in the moment. And I know we can't do this all the time as coaches, especially if you're not a full-time coach and like you're running, you know, another job, or you're, you know, a mom, or like you're just not able to really post a video or a picture in the moment, and you have to kind of like take those and then save them for later. But when you can do that, make sure you're taking advantage of doing it. Like, because what she said is Instagram was originally created to be instant, right? Like instant gram, that's what it is. And so if you can like, you know, take a selfie fresh after your workout and you're super sweaty, the reason those pictures used to do so well is because they were instant, like they were in the moment, and you're like typing out as you're feeling so motivated after your workout. So she said the more you can do posts like that that are really raw and real and authentic to like what is going on in this current moment, as opposed to posting the later grams, those are the posts that are going to do a little bit better. And again, like I said, we can't do that all the time. So it's okay to have a balance of like later grams. But I know for myself, like when I am telling a story or talking about my day and the post is from my day, or the post is literally like something I just took a picture of, it usually does better. And like now that makes sense to me now, rather than when I'm laying in bed, like, oh, what am I going to post? And then I swipe through, you know, my old photos and I find something, and there are days for that. Like, it's okay to do that. We can't always be perfect, but it's just really cool to know, like, it helps us be way more in control of like getting a really awesome post out there and having it do well. So another thing is, she kind of mentioned this in timeliness, but it's really storytelling and having a little bit longer captions are actually better. Sometimes I know we think like, oh, nobody's going to read this, like it's so long. And I'm the queen of long captions, as most of you guys probably know. Like they are so long sometimes, and it's hard for me not to do a long caption. But the reason those posts do well is because they're keeping people on the platform longer, and they are usually telling a story, and a story is engaging. Like you want to hear the end of the story. You want to hear the climax of the story. Like you want to hear how things work out. So keep in mind, like with the whole timeliness and doing things in the moment, like if you can, you know, take a picture in the moment, post it in the moment, it's real, it's raw, it's authentic, and you tell a story, that is like the golden ticket right there. And then the other thing she mentioned, what's really cool about this is quality over quantity. And I know I've said this a lot to you guys, so you don't have to post as much. Like you could probably get away with posting 5 times a week as opposed to posting 3 times a day. I used to post 3 times a day when I first started coaching. Now I post once every day. But if you can't get the post out, like it's midnight and your post isn't going to be quality, it's okay to take a day off if you got at least 5 posts out for the week, just to make sure that you're giving quality, you know, quality over quantity. And then another thing she mentioned is if you can't post, or, you know, maybe like Kelsey, I know you were blocked for a little bit. It is really good for the algorithm actually to be on social media, like to be on the app and using the app, because you engaging with other profiles is just boosting and telling Instagram that like, oh, you're having conversations, you're on the app, and you're causing other people to be on the app. So that's good. Okay, so the next thing, number 3, is posts and accounts you engage with. This is something that's really huge and something I didn't really pay attention to for a long time. But if you are using the platform actively, like I just kind of said, if you're liking on people's stuff, you're commenting on other people's stuff, and you're sharing people's content, like maybe you find or you follow a profile that has really cool like word graphics and you love the quotes they share. If you're sharing that kind of stuff like to your stories, those are a few other ways that are really going to help boost your profile, because again, it's telling Instagram like this is an active user of Instagram, and she's not only just like on the app kind of like wandering around, but she's like engaging with other people's stuff, sharing it, and like creating community. So like again, it's like always goes back to Instagram wants us to be social. It wants us to like build and engage with community. And I think it's so cool, because when I lean into this side of Instagram, as opposed to just like counting my followers and, oh, like sending another reach out, like I'm in such a different mindset. And it's so much more fun. like messaging girls and being like, oh, this is so cool. Like we're across the world and we're connecting. Like it's cool to build community. So another thing she mentioned is with other posts and other accounts, don't like sit back and wait on people. Like don't sit back and like, you know, focus so hardcore in on like your content and what you're posting and what you're doing every single day. Like get out there and like engage with other posts and other content and other accounts, you know, whether you're following them or not, like explore, you know, because if you're only focusing on what you're doing, then there's no like exchange, there's no interaction going on, and people aren't going to find you that way. Like they're not going to find you if you're just like sitting back and waiting for them to come around. And the last thing she said on this topic, which was so good, is like, you don't need to be perfect. And like I said kind of before, Instagram, like people are craving real and authentic right now. And I think it's kind of funny because we all know that, like we know this trend is happening. And so people are kind of learning the equation to being real and authentic. But like if it's real, there is no equation. Like if it's real and authentic, you know, it's not going to be something that you've ever seen before. And I've even seen influencers do this, or like bloggers before, where, you know, they'll like post a few different pictures of themselves like crying. And that was kind of like a thing I saw floating around for a while. And I'm like, why is like everybody doing this? Like, it's kind of weird, right? Because it's like authentic, but not, because you've seen it so many times before. So make sure, like, just kind of check yourself when you are posting something authentic and like real and raw and it's in the moment or whatever's going on, that you truly are, you're doing it to connect with people and not to just, you know, create the equation and, you know, get more engagement and likes and all that jazz. Authentic is always better. So now I really want to dive into a few of those like main categories. So number one, how to post. And I know like a lot of these things, some of you guys already know, but photos with you in them will always do better than photos that don't have you in them. That's okay if you don't post photos with you in them, but like the ones that are gonna do well are the ones with you. So make sure that it's a majority of you on your feed. And then, like I said before, longer form captions that educate people, inspire people, and tell a story are really the best, because when somebody's learning something, they're gonna stay there and like try to absorb it. Or if they're being inspired, that's gonna cause an emotional reaction. They're gonna stay there and like read it and really feel that. And if you're telling a story, like they want to hear the end of the story. So that's with the captions. And then with the look of your photos, you want like visually looking good, obviously. Like we all know, like you can get a preset, you can make your whole page look nice, kind of like your magazine edit, whatever. Like if you were in a magazine and it was your magazine, like that's kind of how you want your feed to look. But think about your captions as well. And I see a lot of coaches doing this. And I don't really get it why, because I used to do it all the time and it's just confusing. But when you make a post with a caption and you don't add like spaces in, just to kind of like give somebody a visual of like where to go next, or like, you know, a break for your eyes, I found that's like super, super, super helpful to keeping people on your post. And like I said, I've seen a few coaches do the opposite, where they'll just write a really long caption and it's like this big blob. And I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't want to read that. It looks scary. You know, you're just like, oh, keep scrolling. So make sure that not only the photo is visually good looking, but the caption is visually like pretty. And you can use periods, you can use like stars, you can use emojis to like kind of space things out. But the next thing is hashtags. So this is one that's always kind of frustrated me. I feel like hashtags, like, yes, we all know it's important to use them, but I've never really known how to use them. I know, you know, find my brands and find hashtags related to my brands and some smaller hashtags so that I'm going to be the best of those smaller hashtags. But what I learned recently from all these trainings I've been watching is how to like actually do hashtags. So I'm going to walk you through this really quick. So what you need to do is first, like, find a hashtag website or something to help you find hashtags. And I have a few of them. There's a paid one that I just started using. I think it's like a membership. So it's either $5 a month or $10 a month, and you can cancel it after 1 month. So that's what I'm doing right now. I bought it. It's called Flick Tech. It's www.flick, like FLICK .tech, TECH. Just type that into your search bar and like it'll come up as like the first one. So you can get, like I said, different memberships for this, but I so far have only used it for 1 month, and I'll probably just like either cancel my subscription after I found like some good hashtags, and then like maybe pay for the subscription again a couple months down the road when my hashtags stop working, because that's how they are. Like you have to find your groups, and then after a while they stop working. But the other one, if you want a free one, and this is actually helpful for something that I'll explain to you in a sec, is displaypurposes.com. So no spaces or anything, no periods. It's just displaypurposes.com. And the hashtags you find here are good, but they're definitely going to be a little bit bigger than you want. Like they're going to have a lot more attached posts to them. And again, like I said, we'll get to where we can use those specific hashtags. So first off, we want to make sure the hashtags we're using are relevant to our post. So I'm just going to use an example. Like I made a post the other day of me doing yoga in my RV, and I posted a picture of me doing a handstand. So when I went to post the photo, I looked on FlickTech and I typed in yoga. Like obviously that's a relevant hashtag to the post, but it was like a really, really big hashtag. So what you want to do is make groups of hashtags for your, like for each post. That's according to each brand. So like I'll pull up the notes in my phone for this, and I will make like a section for my yoga hashtags, and then another section for my dog hashtags or dog mom, another one for like outdoorsy girl hashtags, another one for coffee, whatever, you know, like each of your little brands. But the way that you can make these groups is we're going to break them into 5s. So the first grouping you want to make is under 50,000 attached posts. So for going back to my example of like my yoga post, if I'm, you know, trying to find a group of 30 hashtags, because for each post you can only make, or you can only have 30 hashtags on the post, 30 or less. So for the first 5, I'm going to look for all yoga related hashtags that are under 50,000 attached posts. So the second one, and this is where like that website FlickTech really comes in handy, because the way that you search it, it like creates this bubble map. You want to click on the bubble map option so you can see it visually like little bubbles, and it's so helpful because it just throws up all these hashtags for you. So going back, side note, second group is 50,000 to 200,000 groups of hashtags. So now we have 10 hashtags that we can use for our post, right? The third group you want to find is 200,000 posts to 500,000 attached posts to it. So 200 to 500,000. So now we have 15 hashtags. And then the next group is 500,000 to 1 million. So that will bring us to 20 hashtags total if we find 5 in that grouping. And then the last one is hyper relevant. So these are like any posts with 1 million or more attached posts. Like it could be literally like hashtag inspiration or hashtag yoga, you know, like the really, really, really big ones. And so the reason she explained that you want to have 5 groups of hashtags from each of these little sections, you know, all different sizes of attached posts to them, is because your post is going to show up in like kind of all these different areas. And in some areas it will do really well because you're a smaller account. In some areas it'll probably do really terrible, but you're going to be in all of these different pools of these hashtags. And so people in all areas will be able to find you, which is really, really cool. So the last group of hashtags are called the mega popular, and these are literally like the most popular of popular hashtags you can think of, like hashtag love or hashtag dog. And these, when I first became a coach, they always told us don't use these at all. But now I've learned where you're supposed to use them, and I've been doing this for the past like 3 days, and guys, it is crazy how it's been working. So the mega popular are for your stories. So anytime, like, let's say I made a post and then I like shared my post to my story, what you want to do is hashtag in, and you can do like 5 different hashtags. You don't need to use the bubble for the hashtag to work. You know how there's like a button with the hashtag? You can like literally type out like hashtag, just like you were making text in your story. You can type out hashtag dog, hashtag love, like whatever, but you can use a few, and then you can hide them under a sticker or something like that. And I don't know why that works, but it does, and it's awesome. So make sure like you're not using those really hyper relevant ones on your Instagram posts, but saving them for your stories. Even just like coffee, like it's crazy how it's been working for me and just getting me more views on my stories. Like the last few days, my views in my stories have gone up like at least 100 views, and I've been using a lot of those hashtags. So I'm thinking that it's working. Okay, so moving on from hashtags, I know it was kind of confusing, so I can come back at the end and answer like any questions if you missed any of that. But next, I found this recent app called When to Post, and it is a free app. It is awesome, and it literally gives you 3 different times throughout the day when you can make an Instagram post. Let me see if I can show it to you guys what it looks like. But it'll give you the time like to the exact minute, and I haven't experimented with it yet. Like my posts have been a little bit on the time, some days a little bit off the time, but I know from the person who told me about this app, they were like, if I go off the minute, like my results are insanely different than if I am to post exactly on the minute of like when this app tells you to post. So that's really cool. Basically, let's see, this is what it looks like. If you can kind of see that when you open it up, it just tells you, so at the top, this is a timer, and it'll tell you like the countdown. Like it says for me, the next best time to post is 2 hours and 49 minutes from now. So it has all your days laid out here. And if I click on the day, it'll give me like 3 times to post. So 9:15 p.m., 10:45 p.m., and 11:15 p.m. It's so funny. All my followers are on the app really late at night, like always like midnight. I'm like, what the heck is going on? But I don't know, maybe that means they're all Pacific Standard Time. Anyways, so helpful for posting, because I feel like the Instagram insights, when you go into your Instagram, like, you know, when it shows you all of your audience from Instagram is on the app, it's not very distinct and it's not very clear. So using this app has been awesome the last few days. Next, obviously, you always want to add in like a location when you're making a post. You always want to tag appropriate accounts. Like if you're wearing clothing, like tag wherever your clothing is from. You never know if they'll, you know, want to reach out and do kind of like a shout out for you. I had that happen the other day. Like I made a meal with seaweed strips, and I love my seaweed strips. They're like the best. But they just reposted my photo yesterday. I like woke up to it and they had like 17,000 followers, and I was like, that's cool. So anybody who goes on their page and sees my photo and my recipe, then they'll know where to come find me if they want more of that kind of stuff. So the last thing that I have not been doing ever, I never even knew this was an option, but if you go into where you're making a post, there's a button that says add alt text, like alternative text. And that's for people who have visual impairments, or is that the word? Like they're visually impaired. So if you add in a little like description, it'll actually read it out to them when they're scrolling their Instagram. So like if they came across your page or they came across one of your photos and, you know, they're visually impaired, they can't see it, it would read out loud to them like, this is a photo about a girl doing a workout and blah, 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 because that's like what you type in there, you know, to kind of give them an explanation. And at first I was like, well, why would I want to do that? Like, I don't know if like my services could help those types of people, but it's actually like really cool because you might be able to help that person. You never know. Like, don't exclude anybody from this. But also it helps the algorithm and the app know better what you're posting about. So if you know, are making a post and you have 2 extra minutes while you're making it, like add that alt text. It can be only 1 sentence if you want, and it'll just help the algorithm know better who to project your post out to, because like they're trying to get your post to the right audience. They're trying to help, like they want to work in our favor with that area, right? So you might as well do it. Okay, last thing, when posting a photo, you just want to make sure you have like a little call to action in some sort of way. It doesn't have to be like a join my boot camp call to action, but it can be as simple as comment below, you know, or tell me what's your favorite recipe, or are you salty or sweet breakfast eater? That's one I like to use all the time because I love breakfast. Okay, that's it with posts. So next, how to engage. I just want to tell you like a few tips on engaging. So number one, when you're commenting on other people's photos and maybe even commenting back to people who are commenting on your photos, make sure to use more than 4 words. Apparently the algorithm sees the 4 words or less or just emojis as spam. So if you're doing that all day long and you're just posting like hearts or cool or great job, like it's just going to see it as like a spam account. And so that could be one thing to kind of make sure you're not getting notified as a spam account. And then make sure your comments are rich and like engaging with the content. And feel free to start conversations, like start, you know, asking people a question after they've commented. Like maybe you made a post about your handstand like I did the other day, and they're like, cool, like that's awesome, that pose is called this, because I posted asking what is the name of this pose, like I don't know but I'm doing it. And somebody told me, and so after that comment, what I did was ask her, like, have you practiced this pose before? Like, thanks so much. Have you ever done this pose before? So like starting a conversation, that's going to like keep people on longer, and you're going to build a relationship. Another thing with that is when you are DMing people on the back end of things, we all know that's important as coaches. Like hopefully we are all doing that as coaches, because that's how we like invite people and get them in our boot camps and just like build relationships with them. But what's really cool about doing that, it will actually put your post in their feed. I don't know if you've ever noticed this happening. I've noticed it for me recently because I've been like learning about this. But if you are DMing somebody or inviting somebody or just having a conversation on the back end, and like maybe they haven't seen your post in a while, you're going to pop up in their feed more frequently because you guys are having a conversation, and that tells the Instagram algorithm, oh, like these people are friends, I'm going to show her content to them, right? So that's why it's really, really good to be in the DMs and be engaging with people and having conversations. Not just because it's necessary to, you know, get people in your boot camps, but it'll also continue to just like show them your content. The last thing with engaging is being active in your niche. And this is something I just started doing, and it's so much fun, and it actually really helps people to come and find your page. So what this means is go to a similar account to yours. For me, I found this girl who lives in a van with a dog and her husband, and her name is Wellness with Courtney. She's so cute. I love like the food she makes. Like she's super into health and yoga. So go to this account, like a bigger account that's similar to yours, and engage with their most recent post, but engage not only with them, but like the comments on the post. Because what will happen is the people commenting on that person's post will see, who's this Leanna girl who's like replying back to my comment, or, you know, or liking my comment, and they'll see your name popping up in places. And then they'll eventually go back to your page and be like, oh, this girl is, you know, similar to me because she's into wellness too, and she's into RV life, and she's, you know, a dog mom, blah, 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 all the things. So that's something that's just been so fun lately to do. And you have to kind of be careful, because I know like it's easy for me to be spammy because I get so excited when doing that. So I try to limit myself to maybe like 5 interactions at most on a post. If there's like, you know, 500 comments on it, then I'll just like, you know, like a few of them and comment back to a few of them, just because I don't want to seem like this crazy person who's like responding to every single comment in one post. But really, like, that's again like telling the algorithm these are the accounts that you want to be engaging with and connect with. And those people who are all into whatever this famous person or this blogger or this brand that you're engaging with, like they're probably into that same stuff. So they're going to come find your page and be like, oh, she's into that same stuff. You know, what happens, like you'll just connect. So last thing I wanted to talk about are just a few of the new updates coming out soon. So likes are going away, if you guys haven't heard about this. And I didn't really know how to like approach it at first. I was kind of just like non-biased. I didn't really have an opinion. But what I have learned is they actually started going away after Kanye made a tweet about mental health. And I think that's just like so cool. So what I learned though by like hearing all about the likes going away is that vanity metrics don't really matter in the long run of like building a business. So it's not something that we should worry about, because she used this metaphor and I love this. She was like, you know, good art, like the Beatles, for instance, like the good art in the world that's timeless and lasted forever was not on Instagram at the time. Like they didn't have a profile account, or they didn't have like a Facebook, and they still killed it. And really, when it comes down to it, like the vanity metrics are kind of a distraction. And what's really funny is apparently right when Instagram told everyone that the likes are going away soon, Nicki Minaj also made a tweet, and she was like, what am I going to do with all my time? Because like, obviously, like that's all she cares about are the likes. And I think it's honestly like healthy for everybody, including us as coaches, because when we are working a business on social media every single day, like I know for myself, like it's so easy to fall into comparison. And I think comparison kills creativity, like it kills joy. And sometimes it makes people quit even. So if we can just like get rid of that, like I'm like all for it. So now I'm totally on the side of like getting rid of the likes. And what I found out is that you'll still be able to see who is liking your posts. Like you could see the likes if you, I guess if you like tap on your post, you can still see the likes, but everybody else won't be able to see other people's likes. But you can still see who's interacting and who's engaging with you. And that's all that matters, is like building relationships, building a community. That's really like what social media's purpose is. You know, like it gives us this power to have a virtual business. Like literally, I think of it sometimes like, here's my little virtual brick and mortar business, and I just get to take it around with me, like in my pocket. And then when you find other accounts or you find other friends, or like you're connecting with other people on social media, it just like launches you like all the way across the world to another person, and you guys get to connect. Like that's just so cool. Like I found a girl just the other night, and she wants to join my boot camps, and we're so similar, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm like, I would never have met this girl, and she lives in Tennessee. Like and she lives like so close to me. Like I don't know, it just blows my mind on the daily. Okay, I know that I said that was the last thing, but I just have one more, one more last thing. So pay attention to what works. When you are getting frustrated with your Instagram, pay attention to the posts that are doing well. What is getting the most attraction and the most engagement? Like, and I know you're going to say like, oh, but I'm in a rut right now. Like nothing's working. There is one thing that's working. There's always one thing that works, right? I know for me, people always tell me they love my stories. I just guess I'm good at stories. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just a dork. But when all else fails, I know that if I go on my stories and I just be me, like that is one thing that I can do. So for you, like find the thing that people really love, find what gets you traction. Maybe it's every time you post about how insecure you are about your body. Like that could be something that people really engage with and like feel you in. I know for me, like when I made a post about that a long time ago, that's always something that people resonate with, is like the insecurity of their body. So yeah, just pay attention to that stuff, and then remember to do it again. Even when things feel like they're going well on social media, don't let that go. Like don't let the thing that works or the thing that really brings engagement into your page, like, don't let it go, you know, keep using it, keep doing it. That's what Rachel Hollis always says. She always mentions that her business success is because she has always paid attention to what people want. She's always paid attention to what her followers find value in. And she like brings that stuff back and makes new posts about it over and over and over again. So yeah. Oh yeah. I also wanted to share with you guys this little baby I just got in the mail. It is Melanie Mitro's social media strategy like planner, and I'm so freaking excited. This was like 35 bucks. So it might be a little business investment for you. It was an early birthday present to me, but it is a 52-week social media game plan. And you know how it goes. Like we always tell our clients, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. So if you're really busy and struggling to be consistent on social media, or you just struggle with like social media in general, I would highly recommend this planner. And I don't struggle with social media, like, but I still got it because I'm so excited. Basically, it's like her and her best friend, they created this business, Make Chic Happen, to help coaches in the network. And it's like super uplifting, super positive. And let me see if I can get to like the calendar part of it. It literally gives you like how to make a social media strategy on the day-to-day, on the week-to-week, on the month-to-month. And they like walk you through like so many things. So if you want to level up your social media game even more, buy this baby. I think it's on Amazon. That's where I got it from. So that is all I have for you guys. I know that was a lot. I love social media. I think it's so cool and so fun. So if you have any other questions, you can unmute yourself if you want. I'm going to read through the chat.
Hey, I had a question because my question was kind of in the middle of you talking, and I know you're probably going to read it and have no idea what it was in relation to. So when you were talking about the I guess, app or website that tells you when it's best to post, that is connected directly to your Instagram though, correct? To figure out when is the best time, it's connected directly to your Instagram.
Like,
right?
like when you log in, you do have to log in with your Instagram. So I'd assume it is.
I would be leery of that because that's how I got blocked, was by using outside apps that had Instagram connected, because Instagram, when they re-updated recently, they pretty much shut down every third-party app.
But the only thing is this isn't controlling anything from the app. Like the only thing this does is just give you like a detailed perspective of the times that you should be posting. So I don't think it would do anything bad because you can't like control anything on Instagram from here. And then the only other reason I wouldn't be too afraid to use it is just because of the girl who like recommended it. Like she has like millions of followers and subscribers. So I don't know. I would trust her sourcing, but yeah.
That's just my fear. I'm afraid of using anything that is linked at all to Instagram because I got blocked for a straight month and a half from freaking Instagram, and I was like, I am not going through this ever again.
Yeah, I don't think this would matter just because you can't control anything. Like with all the other apps like Cleaner and Captivate, you're like legitimately like doing actions from the app into your Instagram. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. But it does have like a paid version, which gives you even more analytics. It basically just tells you everything about your Instagram. Oh, that's so cool. They reposted Brienne. Wait, does anybody know what Brienne was talking about with the library card thing? I don't know.
Library card.
She said if your computer phone isn't working, image doesn't show up, it'll say that instead with the library. That is huge for accessibility for the public. I don't know.
not know.
Yeah, and thinking back to the big coaches who did all of this with no social media, or like just the bare minimum of social media. Like I remember when stories came out, it was like a game changer. Oh my gosh. 21-day fix DVDs. That's how I got started. Annalise, what app were you asking about? The time one?
Yeah.
It's called When to Post. It just basically gives you 3 times a day, every day of the week. So you can like plan ahead when you're going to post. But it's like down to the minute. So it's just very helpful because when you look into Instagram's insights, it'll tell you like the best time to post, but it's kind of, it goes like hourly, I think. So it's a little bit more vague. So yeah, I've just been having a lot of success with this. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Wait, sorry, what is it called again?
When to post.
Okay.
It looks like this when you open it up.
Okay, and does it like connect to your account though, or like you have to put in your?
Yeah, like you log in with your account, but you aren't controlling anything from the account. So like the only reason you're putting in your account info is so that it can like know, like analyze like when is the best time to post.
Okay. Cool. Because I was blocked for a while too, but I feel like as long as you're not using it to like add or
To do anything.
Yeah,
that was my thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have like a part on their app as well where you can like send in a contact or FAQ or bug report. So it seems pretty good.
What?
But I found it through the YouTuber Sunny Ladarzi, and she's just like super successful on YouTube. So I'm like, if she's using it, then it must be good. She has like hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram.
Yeah, and a lot of YouTubers like know a lot about what you can't and can use.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like telling people things that they can't use.
Yeah, that would
how long have you been using it for?
I just been using it for like 3 days.
Okay, I was just curious.
And some days I haven't been on time. Like last night it said like post at 10 and then 10:30 and I posted at like 11. So I was late, but my post didn't really get that good of engagement. So there you go.
Okay, cool.
But the times I am on time with it, it like seems to work really well. Yay. Well, I'm so excited to go fill out this planner. And I just finished my last one from December, so yay. Okay, I have to get a selfie. I always forget. Smile. We lost Brienne, but I'll still tag her. Okay, bye guys. Have a good rest of your night.